began explaining to me something that he experienced on his journey. You see, this individual is someone that you would consider checked out of society, fully checked out. I think he lives in a car. He might, before that, might not even have had a car. He completely checked out. Yeah, you wouldn't know that. I mean, it's not like he's looking like that. He carries himself in a regal manner. And he doesn't ask for handouts. He's not looking for anything free. Very dignified person with a very large amount of knowledge on a number of different things. I enjoy talking to him. I'm a curious person. I know a number of things, and then there are things that I don't know that I will sit at the feet of, per se, of people that do know more than me and listen. And he began talking about how he started off on the journey of checking out. He said, I woke up one morning. He said he was having problems with his children's mom. They were having some normal relationship issues. And he just said, I woke up one morning and I just decided I was going to walk. He said, I was just going to start walking. I didn't have no responsibilities. I didn't have a house, didn't have a car. I just was going to get up and walk. And wherever I was going to go, I was going to walk to. And he said, I thought about it and I thought, well, I don't know how effective that'll be, because then where will I walk? I mean, will I have to walk only on the highways? Because if I cut through fields, just to get off of the main thoroughfare, then I'm impeding on other people's properties. And then he thought how difficult that would be it that he doesn't know the lay of the land in which he'll be setting out to walk in. And the further he gets out of the city, the less he knows about the environment. And so he said, he said, I began, basically, he thought, I'll walk the freeway. Because if I walk across country, I'm going to have to walk the freeways anyway. So let me see if I can walk the freeway. I hope I'm getting this right. His main reason for getting on the freeway, I don't know. I think that's why he said he got on the freeway. But the bottom line is he ended up on the freeway. He walking on the freeway. So he walks in that far right-hand lane, or maybe the far left-hand lane. I don't know. But the lane you pull in when your car is acting up. He's walking that. And then he says, okay, I'm walking this. This is what this feels like. Okay, it's scary, but the scary portion is kind of dwindling down the further he walked. So then he challenges himself more. He says, I began to walk the line between that demarcation line that, if you go any further to the right, you're in the flow of traffic. But if you go further to your left, you're in the flow of traffic. But if you go further to the right, you're in the safe zone. So he began to challenge himself. And then he says, okay, that was scary, but it was cool. People were blowing their horn. Then he says, while I was straddling the line, I said, well, what'll happen if I close my eyes? So now he's closing his eyes on the freeway, walking the divider line with his eyes closed. And he says that he was coming in and out of the line. He wasn't walking a straight line, and the only way he would know is because people were blowing their horn. And then the police come. And they ask him a bunch of questions. They put him in the car, get him off the freeway, and drop him off on, some off-ramp. Then he gets to walking. And he says, I wonder what it's like just to feel free and take a dive into a body of water. All in one day. This is one day. And he says that he comes into some convention area, some area where there's a fountain, big fountain of water, where he gets dropped off at. And he said, actually, he said he was on his way to work. That's why he got on the freeway. He was on his way to work, but he took the freeway to get there, walking. So now the police take him off of the freeway. He comes into this fountain, huge fountain. And something tells him to jump in the fountain. He says he dove straight back without trying to break his fall or nothing into the fountain. Now I'm sitting there laughing and thinking like, wow, what the what? And I asked, why would you do these things? He said, I was challenging my faith. He said, I challenged pushing my fears to the side and trusting. Now, I'm awe-inspired. Not that I would ever do it, but I'm listening to him like, wow. He said, yeah, on the freeway, I challenged my faith in just walking it. And then when I got accustomed to it, I wanted to keep that feeling going. So I challenged my faith of straddling the line. And then I got accustomed to that. And then I challenged my faith of straddling the line with my eyes closed. And I got accustomed to that. And then the police came and took me off. And then it was as if I wanted to continue this feeling. And then I fall backwards without trying to break my fall into a body of water, and I fall and I'm caught and I'm not hurt. And he says, when I came out of the water, I didn't take into consideration that I had some very thick sweatpants on. And now my sweatpants are soaking wet. And I'm having to walk holding them up, and they're very heavy. So he takes his sweatpants off. He walking in his boxers, friend. We were laughing at this. He was laughing right with me. It's funny. He said he walked to work. He gets to work. And while he's walking up in the distance to work, there's a set of railroad tracks or some rocks or something that it leads up to the job. Maybe, I don't know, a little bit in the distance. He says, I wonder what it's like to run on these rocks barefoot while he's holding his shoes and his pants. He said he began running on the rocks. He said, at first my feet were hurting, and then I didn't feel nothing. And then he said, he gets to his job, and everybody looking at him like, dude, what's wrong with you? And they called the police on him again. I bring all of this up because when he finished, the first thing that came to my mind was, friend, you were on an adventure. And to the rest of the world, it looks ridiculous. But in our original capacity, I'm not promoting this. I'm just taking you on a journey for you to see how far you've been conditioned out of your creation. How much fear you live in. You are bound by your creations. And that someone that has completely checked out, this person is completely free. No hang-ups, no reservations. You can't shame him. You can call him whatever society will want to call him. It doesn't matter. He's getting the full experience of his life. Not from in some kind of corporate boardroom. Not within some sort of socioeconomic structure that he aligns to. But whatever he wants it to be. Yet someone that aligns to those types of philosophies could get an inkling of what that feels like. Just to be free. Completely free. But then they're drawn back in because of the responsibilities. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the responsibilities. I got them.